Hi everyone, it's Chaos Magpie's YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video, I'll be doing Charlie Dean's play ratings for season 2025. If you are attending Chaos Magpies, welcome, like, comment, share. New to the channel, watch this for the first time, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now, I'm doing the players that are leaving first, the one that's been delisted, and then we can get them out the way as well. Now, with Charlie Dean, he's played a few games, 24 years of age, 195 centimetres. He was averaging 10.5 disposals per game, 0.5 intercepts, 3.3, and 0.8 tackles per game as well. Now, when you look at his performances from last year, he played the same amount of games as he did. He played more. He played 8 in season 2024. He had 84 disposals, now down to 42 marks. This year, 11 to 40. But he really had 3 tackles, 8. And therefore, he just struggles this year. Now, in the matches that he's played round 16, round 19, he played round 20 and also round 21 as well. Now, one thing I will say is I'll go through each of the games as well, because I think it's very important that we go through it in particular. And he's much of a VFL player, and I do feel sorry for him in a way. I did give him votes against Richmond, not gonna lie. I think that would have been a correct way to do it. But against the Eagles, where we won by 29 points, he had 4 disposals, 1 mark, 2 tackles, and that was about it. So it was very hard, considering that we kept him like 59 points, and B, it's hard to get a read on that. But then the Fremantle game came up, and he had 11 disposals as well. He had 0 marks, 1 tackle, and basically gave Patrick Ross 6 goals as well, which kind of hurts him a lot more as well. Now, I think for me, when I look at those 2 games that he's played, he tends to struggle against the good teams and does well against shit teams. Not trying to be disrespectful, it's just the way that it is. Now, comparing to against the Tigers, 19 disposals, 6 marks, 0 tackles as well, and I literally thought he played really well in that particular game. And then Fly backed him in against the Lions, where he had 8 disposals, 4 marks, a free kick against, and that's when we had Logan Morris kicking 6 goals as well. So it is annoying when that particularly happens, because you don't know on what's going to happen as well. Now, I need to have a look at this VFL form, because I know a lot of people are going to come at me and say, well, be hypocritical, you gave me votes against Richmond, that sort of thing as well. But I will say, into defence of myself, and I'm not afraid to defend myself if I really need to in this situation, is that VFL, he does really, really well. Now, pretty much against the Swans, where I think it was purely based on a game that he played, and I thought literally he played okay. He had 18 disposals, 7 marks, and a tackle, and I definitely thought he played really well against the Sydney Swans, and that was at VFL level. And when I look at the VFL guys, he can play against good VFL players. That's all what he's becoming to, right? He's never going to be the best defender in the competition, and I will talk, to be honest, and then I'll go through all these with you guys as well. And I definitely do feel like it needs to be done, because I'm so worried and concerned for him in particular. And again, you can have 13 disposals, 2 marks, 3 tackles as well. Okay, well, you can take that in round 3 as well, where he does do really well. Against the Brisbane Lions, that's when I feel like, because it's more of a VFL team, it's never gonna be what everyone else is gonna say, like, oh yeah, he plays well at VFL, he should go to AFL level. I think sometimes it's harder for him to do that, because he had 15 disposals, 6 marks, 2 tackles as well. So it's very hard for me to judge basically off that. And yes, we lost by a point, but he did do some nice things against the Brisbane Lions. And against Essendon, when we won by 31 points, I think that was a really good game for his point of view as well. So I look at every aspect of what I've seen from Charlie Dean, and basically on how he plays as well. And he definitely had 14 disposals, 8 marks as well. So he can play really, really well in particular. So we can use that for him. And then against against Footscray Bulldogs at Vic Park, and that's when we lost pretty badly. Let's not sugarcoat it. We lost, convincingly by 72 points. But he did have 23 disposals, 8 marks and tackles. So he can have his head held high in that, considering that where we can play him in particular. And I'll look at round 7 as well, and we played, again, the Northern Bullets. Now, you're not going to get much of a opportunity to really censor the occasion of him, but I do think that when we see him play, he still had 18 disposals, 8 marks and 3 tackles, so he's still doing what he needs to do. Now, barring that's all he need to do, and he played his role really well. Against the Giants at Vic Park, again, where it was a difficult jumper clash, not going to lie, it was, to a certain extent. And then we had him here, he had 22 disposals. So if he can have 22 disposals, 8 marks, 2 tackles, you're thinking, geez, he's showing really good signs at VFL level. Is he ever going to get his chance? And then you have to think of, okay, is there anything that the coaching staff wanted to see from him? And again, you see it against North Melbourne where he's getting closer because he's been in emergencies. He's been talked about a fair bit, especially by Craig McRae and the coaching staff in particular. So it does come down to, I think, on what he's capable of doing. And he really had basically really good disposals. He still had 15 disposals, 5 marks, 2 tackles. That's what you can say on him for that particular game. And then you're thinking, okay, well, if he can do well, is he ever going to break in? I think one thing that we need to be worried about, and I think for me in particular, and all other Collingwood supporters is thinking, is that when we want him to play AFL level, he's not going to do that well, because these guys, AFL level is so different to the VFL. It is, anyone can dominate. Again, here, 23 disposals, 1 mark, 5 tackles against the Box Hill Hawks, and that was in round 10. So he can do that sort of thing in particular. So, and then, as we said, where we played Casey Demons at the Wynn Oval, and again, that was a match where we played Melbourne on the King's birthday that weekend as well. I was really surprised that we played down at the Wynn Oval. We normally play either Vic Park or Casey Fields. He had 22 disposals, 7 marks, 2 tackles. He does really well against VFL type of players as well. And that's one way for me that I look at it. And I think, okay, well, he's done well then. We have the bye. against Sandringham, where, again, we had a kick after the siren, and it shows you on what he's capable of. And, again, I'm not being mean here, but 21 disposals, 6 marks, 2 tackles, like, okay, well, he's got to get in somehow. We got to play him. And we all think, is he ever going to get a game? And, you know, he did. He played 4 games. I thought he, you know, against Richmond, he showed a fair bit on what he needed to do. And I thought he competed really well against. But, again, VFL is a lot different to what people think. And as much as he played VFL most weeks, there was 4 games that he did not play because it was clearly in our best interest to play him when we needed to. And then we played at Icon Park, and again, this is what really tells me on what he's capable of here. After being dropped, he had 24 disposals, 9 marks. So he's capable of playing, again, a very good game against the Blues. And then when you look at round 16, we lost to the Gold Coast Suns. Now, we won against Gold Coast Suns, sorry. It's the first time that we ever beat them. But then you think here, 20 disposals, 6 marks and tackles, like, how can you do this at VFL but struggles at AFL? So, again, like, it's so hard to really try and know on why that he does struggle at this type of level, you know, and I think it does come down to how he performs. Now, I know that he didn't play against the Cats, and which, again, he played in the AFL team for that in particular, and then therefore I think that would have been probably it for most games. Against Frankston, I don't think he played against Frankston. I could be wrong, so he definitely did not play. And that's when we had Jordan De Goey playing too. So, again, it was pretty hectic as well. And I think after that, you know, that we just play him in the VFL because we knew that, you know, that he needs to do better. And he definitely can do better. But whether or not that I think that he needs to get more of an opportunity or not. So that's where I'm thinking in a way of that. And then I think round 21 was pretty much the catalyst that when we played Port Melbourne, we only lost by 8 points. Now, I think from memory he played in this particular game, and again, he had 17 disposals, 7 marks, 3 tackles. So, again, like, he's still doing what he needed to do as well. And then in the wildcard round that we had, we lost to the Seagulls by 12 points at home. That was the only home game that we ever had. And I think that's something that, you know, definitely needs to be addressed. But he had 14 disposals, 5 marks and 2 tackles against Williamstown as well, and that's when we lost by 2 kicks as well. How do I rate his season out of 10? Look, I think the AFL does affect him a lot more. I think he's a 3 out of 10 in the AFL, and I think the VFL he's a 7 out of 10. He's that type of player where I think that we need to see more of the consistency for him to build. Like, you know, do we give him another year or not? Personal opinion, I think we needed a key defender. I think if we can get a key defender where if we might need to rest a few senior players and we had Charlie Dean on the list still, I think that it can definitely help out a lot more, and therefore it just frees him up as much as you possibly can. Personally, I think it's a smart move to delist him. I would love to see him do well, but it's just unfortunate that these things happen as well, and there's not much that you can do. It's one of those things where you just gotta get used to it, you know? It's so hard to realize that how bad it is for him, but you just gotta think that it's the most important part of his life now is to play that type of brand of football that we know he can. Again, sometimes it's very hard to play AFL football against AFL football senior players as well. Some players can thrive at VFL and then thrive at AFL, so it is what it is. Now, I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to drop a like, also drop a sub. Until next time, bye for now.